A sinister wind howls as a group of friends find themselves standing before an abandoned farm, bathed in the pale glow of the moonlight. The eerie silence of the night is punctuated only by the distant hoot of an owl, adding to the unnerving aura that hangs heavy in the air. These friends, a motley crew of thrill-seekers and curious minds, are drawn to the enigma that is this farm. It is a place shrouded in local legend, whispered stories of tragedy and horror that have turned the once bustling farm into a symbol of dread. Despite the chill that the tales send down their spines, they push open the creaking gate, its rusty hinges groaning in protest. Stepping onto the dry, crunching leaves underfoot, they cross the threshold into the forsaken property. The farm, once the heart of the community, a place teeming with life and laughter, now stands desolate. It's a mere shell of its former glory, its vitality replaced by an unsettling quiet. The once vibrant fields are barren, the once hardy livestock missing, and the once filled farmstead now empty, a chilling testament to its haunted reputation. Their lighthearted banter and laughter, a mere facade of bravado, gradually fades into a whisper, then into silence. The jovial atmosphere that had accompanied them on their journey here is replaced by a sense of foreboding. An ominous aura permeates the farm, a spectral presence that seems to seep into their very bones. It's a sensation they can't shake off, a cold, prickling feeling that raises the hair on the back of their necks. They continue to trudge onward, their footsteps echoing in the stillness. Each rustle of the wind, each creak of the wooden structures amplifies the anxiety gnawing at their insides. The thrill of the unknown is swiftly replaced by a creeping sense of dread. As they advance further into the farm, a sudden chill runs down their spines. The air grows heavy, their laughter is replaced by an eerie silence. The haunting journey into the heart of the haunted farm has just begun. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream shatters the silence, freezing the blood in their veins. The echo of the scream lingers like a ghost, a chilling reminder of the horror that awaits them. The once comforting darkness of the night is now a cloak of fear, wrapping them in its cold, unyielding grasp. Turning around, a horrifying apparition manifests before their eyes. A ghastly figure, seemingly drenched in blood, materializes from the shadows, its hollow eyes burning with an intensity that sears their souls. The figure stands there, an embodiment of terror, its mere presence radiating a sense of dread that is almost palpable. Paralyzed with fear, the friends can only watch as the figure reaches out towards them. Its fingers are long and skeletal, like the branches of a dead tree reaching out to the living. There is an otherworldly aura about the figure, a sense of wrongness that sends chills down their spines. And then, the figure's mouth opens. It lets out a gut-wrenching wail, a sound that seems to be torn from the very depths of despair. It is a wail that echoes the torment of 1,000 lost souls, a sound that reverberates in their hearts and minds, leaving them shaken to their very core. Suddenly, the ground beneath them begins to shake as if the earth itself is reacting to the figure's anguish. The wind picks up, whipping their faces with a cold, harsh fury. It's as though the world itself is sharing in their terror, amplifying their fear with every gust of wind, every tremor in the ground. And then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the figure disappears. The wind dies down and the ground stills, leaving them standing in the cold, their hearts pounding in their chests like a drumbeat of fear. The taste of fear is bitter on their tongues, a stark reminder of the blood-curdling encounter they just experienced. As the figure disappears, they are left standing in the cold, their hearts pounding in their chests, the taste of fear bitter on their tongues. The friends, now gripped by a terror they have never known, stumble upon an old, dilapidated barn. The barn, a silent sentinel of past horrors, stands defiant against the ravages of time, its timbers creaking under the weight of a chilling secret. Inside, they encounter a ghostly tableau of a forgotten tragedy. The walls, once white and pure, now bear the gruesome stains of dried blood, a macabre testament to the violence that once consumed this place. A noose, worn and frayed, hangs ominously from the rafters, swaying gently in the stale air, as if moved by the sighs of unseen specters. In a dusty corner, they find a decaying diary, its pages yellowed and brittle. With trembling hands, they leaf through the entries, each word revealing the grim past of the farm. The diary speaks of a farmer's family, their lives brutally cut short in a night of unspeakable horror. The bodies never found, the crime never solved, their souls forever trapped within the farm's confines, yearning for justice and peace. The entries paint a vivid picture of the family, their laughter and love, their dreams and hopes, all extinguished in a blink. The friends can almost hear the echoes of their laughter, the whispers of their dreams, and the deafening silence of their untimely demise. The diary's words weave a tale of sorrow and despair, a narrative that chills their blood and sends shivers down their spines. As they delve deeper into the diary, they realize the horrifying truth. They have unwittingly awakened the wrath of these restless spirits. The strange occurrences, the eerie noises, the whispers in the wind, it all falls into place. They are not alone. They are in the company of the tormented souls, their anger and pain radiating through the cold, dark night. As they finish reading the last entry, a cold gust of wind blows out their torches, plunging them into a darkness so profound it seems to swallow them whole. In the heart of darkness, they stand, their hearts throbbing in their chests, the haunting revelation echoing in their minds. In the pitch darkness, their senses heightened by fear, they hear the subtle yet distinct sound of chains dragging on the ground. The cold, unforgiving night seems to hold its breath as the friends, bound by terror, muster every ounce of courage to escape. Every shadow dances menacingly, every whisper of the wind carries an ominous note. The barn forms a labyrinth of dread, the dim moonlight their only beacon of hope. As they stumble, their hearts pounding, spectral hands seem to graze their skin, a chilling reminder of their ghastly encounter. Whispers, guttural and malevolent, echo around them, creating a symphony of fear. The haunted farm, once a place of innocent curiosity, is now a nightmarish realm they must traverse. Each heartbeat, each breath races against the ticking clock of their survival. Just as they see the gate in the distance, they hear a terrifying roar behind them, and the ground begins to shake violently. With adrenaline pumping through their veins, they sprint towards the gate, the roar growing louder. As they reach the gate, they whip their heads around for a final glimpse. An unforgettable sight. The spectral figures of the slain family, their faces twisted in a grotesque blend of fury and sorrow, reaching out towards them. They manage to escape, but as they drive away, they realize their ordeal is far from over. The rearview mirror reflects an unsettling scene. The haunted farm, now ablaze, with the apparition standing in front of it, their hollow eyes following the friends into the night. Under the cover of darkness, four friends, Alex, Bella, Carl, and Dana, ventured into the forbidden grounds of the abandoned military base. The night was as black as coal, the only light coming from the pale, sickly glow of the moon hanging ominously overhead. The wind had a biting chill, whispering dreadful tales that seemed to resonate from the very walls of the forsaken establishment. It was as if the wind itself was a ghost, a spectral remnant of the base's troubled past. The base stood like a tombstone, a silent testament to the horrors it once housed. Its skeletal remains were hidden under a thick blanket of shadows that seemed to twist and contort into monstrous forms under the moon's ghastly illumination. The friends, their hearts pounding like war drums in their chests, pressed on despite the warning signs that nature itself seemed to be throwing at them. Alex, the leader of the pack, was a beacon of bravery, his determination pushing back the shroud of fear that threatened to engulf them. Bella, with her fiery spirit, matched his courage step for step. Carl, the skeptic of the group, was there on a dare, his logical mind refusing to believe in the supernatural. Dana, the quiet one, was driven by a morbid curiosity, her fascination with the paranormal pulling her deeper into the belly of the beast. Each step they took was a crunch against the gravel, a sound that echoed ominously through the desolate expanse of the base. The wind grew colder, the shadows darker, and the silence more deafening. The only sounds were their quickened breaths and the distant hooting of an owl, a haunting melody that seemed to be the base's dirge. Ignoring the primal instinct that screamed at them to turn back, they pressed on, swallowed up by the gaping maw of the base. The thrill of the unknown, the allure of the forbidden, the excitement of danger, it all fueled them, pushing them further into the abyss. They had no idea what they were walking into. As they ventured deeper, they stumbled upon an old, dilapidated bunker, hidden away from prying eyes. The bunker, a relic from a time long past, was a stark reminder of the horrors of war, now reclaimed by nature and time. Its rusted metal doors creaked eerily in the wind, the once sturdy walls now crumbled and decayed, revealing the skeleton of its once formidable structure. The bunker bore the scars of countless battles, its walls etched with strange symbols and cryptic writings. They were rough, hastily scribbled as if the hands that drew them were shaking with fear. The symbols were unfamiliar, a language lost to time, yet they radiated a palpable sense of dread that sent chills down their spines. The air was heavy with a chilling silence, broken only by the distant hoot of an owl and the rustling of leaves. It smelled of damp earth and decay, but there was something else, a faint, nauseating scent that made their stomachs churn. It was the smell of dread, an olfactory reminder of the terror that once reigned supreme within these walls. Despite the fear gnawing at their nerves, the friends decided to explore further. They were drawn in by the allure of the unknown, the thrill of discovery, and the burning desire to unravel the mystery of this forgotten military base. Their flashlights pierced the darkness, revealing the twisted labyrinth of corridors and abandoned rooms, each holding a piece of the puzzle they sought to solve. Every footstep echoed ominously, bouncing off the cold, damp walls, amplifying their growing fear. The shadows danced and flickered, playing tricks on their eyes, morphing into grotesque shapes that made their hearts race. The silence was deafening, amplifying their every breath, every heartbeat, turning the bunker into a cacophony of their own fear. But as they delved deeper, they felt an unseen presence watching them. It was subtle at first, a fleeting sensation of being observed, but it grew stronger with each passing moment. It was as if the bunker itself was alive, its unseen eyes following their every move. Its breath on their necks, a silent whisper in their ears, a warning, a threat, a promise of horrors yet to come. Suddenly, a deafening silence fell upon them, broken only by the echoing sound of their own heartbeats. The friends, once filled with excitement and the thrill of adventure, were now gripped by an unshakable sense of dread. The air was thick with an unnerving chill, a coldness that seemed to seep into their very bones. As they moved deeper into the abandoned military base, the echoes of their footsteps were swallowed by the vast, looming darkness. With each passing moment, the oppressive silence was replaced by an orchestra of haunting phenomena. Whispers, like a distant conversation, danced on the edge of their hearing. They were indistinct, yet chillingly familiar, as if the very walls were recounting forgotten tales of sorrow and despair. The friends felt a pervasive chill in certain spots, a cold unlike any they had ever experienced. It was as though they had unwittingly wandered into pockets of time, frozen in the throes of a long-past tragedy. The temperature would drop, inexplicably, wrapping them in an icy shroud that made their breaths visible in the dim light. Yet the most terrifying aspect was the unseen force that toyed with their sanity. Objects would move inexplicably, doors would slam shut without warning, and shadows would flit across their vision, just out of sight. The friends could feel an unseen presence among them, a ghostly spectator to their mounting terror. The realization dawned on them slowly, like the first rays of dawn after a long, dreadful night. They were not alone in this haunted military base. They were the uninvited guests in a spectral world, a world that did not welcome their intrusion. The friends clung to each other, their courage melting away faster than the fleeting light of their torches. Fear is a powerful thing. It can make the rational mind believe in the irrational, the skeptic accept the supernatural. As the friends grappled with the reality of their situation, they found themselves questioning their own sanity. And then, one by one, they vanished. In the end, only Alex remained, paralyzed with fear and confusion. The eerie silence of the abandoned military base echoed around him, amplifying the chilling dread that had taken hold. He stumbled upon the horrifying truth. The base was not simply haunted, it was a prison. The spirits of fallen soldiers, their souls ensnared in an unending cycle of battle, roamed these forsaken corridors. These soldiers, they weren't just apparitions. They were trapped in a timeless purgatory, their final moments replaying over and over. Alex's friends, he realized with a sickening jolt, had been pulled into this never-ending loop. They were not missing, but transported back in time, compelled to endure the soldiers' tragic demise, their laughter and camaraderie replaced by screams and gunfire. And just like that, Alex found himself alone, trapped in a time warp, destined to share the same fate as his friends. A chilling premonition of his future as he stood there, the last man standing in a war that had ended decades ago. Picture a group of friends, 5 in total: Adam, Bella, Charlie, Daisy, and Ethan. Their laughter echoes in the silent night, oblivious to the impending horror. These 5 souls, bound by curiosity and the thrill of the unknown, were drawn to the spine-chilling tales of an abandoned high school, a place where shadows whispered secrets and the wind carried a mournful sigh. Their journey began under a moonless sky, the darkness pierced only by the flickering lights of their torches, the rustle of leaves underfoot, the hoot of a distant owl, the chilling whispers of the wind, all seemed to be forewarning them of the unspeakable horrors that awaited. Yet they marched on, their hearts pounding with anticipation. There was an unsettling beauty in the silence that surrounded them, a silence that was soon to be shattered by their own screams. As the looming silhouette of the derelict high school appeared, their laughter died down, replaced by a heavy silence. The rusty gates creaked open, revealing a campus lost in time. Lost in a world of their own, our brave adventurers, Jack, Emily, Ben, and Lucy, found themselves standing before the remnants of a once bustling high school. Overgrown with ivy, the edifice loomed ominously over them, its shattered windows staring blankly like the hollow eyes of a skull. The air was heavy with the scent of decay, the silence only broken by the distant hoot of an owl and the rustle of leaves under their feet. As they ventured deeper into the school grounds, they discovered fragments of a forgotten era. A tattered school flag fluttering in the wind, a long-abandoned baseball mitt, and a weather-beaten yearbook with its pages turned yellow. Each artifact bore silent testimony to the life and laughter that once filled these now desolate halls. But it wasn't just these tangible relics that sent a shiver down their spines. It was the intangible, the faint echo of a school bell, the whispering breeze that sounded eerily like hushed voices, the inexplicable chill that seemed to seep from the very walls of the building. The atmosphere was electric with an unsettling energy that prickled at their skin, making them question their decision to explore this forsaken place. At the heart of the campus stood the main building, its entrance guarded by a pair of massive oak doors. These doors, weathered by time and elements, bore the scars of the past, each scratch and dent a story of its own. The suspense was palpable as they approached, the sense of foreboding growing with each step. After what seemed like an eternity, Jack reached out, his hand trembling slightly as he gripped the cold iron handle. With a collective breath, they pushed the door open, bracing themselves for what lay beyond. As the main door creaked open, a cold gust of wind blew out their torches. They were in darkness. With shaky hands, Adam flicked on his lighter. The flame revealed a sight that made their blood run cold. A classroom untouched, as if frozen in time. Desks covered in notebooks and pens, chairs strewn about haphazardly. It was as if the students had vanished suddenly, leaving behind a snapshot of a moment in their lives. The air was heavy with a sense of suspended animation, a chilling tableau of normalcy disrupted by an unknown horror. Among the forgotten remnants, Adam's eyes fell on a worn-out diary, its pages yellowed with age. Hesitant, he picked it up, his fingers skimming over the faded ink. The entries were from a student, a girl named Emily, who wrote about strange happenings in the school, whispers in the library, shadows darting in the corner of her eye, the feeling of being watched. Each entry was a testament to a growing fear, a hauntingly eerie chronicle that echoed their own dread. As Adam read aloud, their hearts pounded in their chests, the words weaving an unsettling narrative that hung heavy in the room. The diary ended abruptly, the final entry a frantic scribble about a dark figure lurking in the hallways. The date? It was the very day the school was abandoned. Just as the reality of Emily's words began to sink in, a sound echoed through the silent school. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, a chilling serenade in the eerily quiet hallways. The friends froze, their breaths hitching in their throats. The footsteps grew louder, closer, the rhythm a ghostly drum playing the symphony of their mounting terror. Every instinct screamed at them to flee, to escape the spectral presence that seemed to be inching closer. But they were rooted to the spot, a tableau of fear etched in the dancing shadows of the flickering lighter. The footsteps stopped, replaced by a deafening silence that seemed to swallow them whole. Suddenly a shrill scream cut through the silence. It was Bella. They found Bella in the auditorium, her face pale, pointing at the stage. Her eyes were wide open, reflecting a terror that was beyond her years. The stage was bathed in an ethereal glow, and upon it, they saw a spectacle that sent chills down their spines. Ghostly figures, dressed in the uniforms of yesteryears, were performing a play. Their voices echoed through the cavernous auditorium, their dialogue a haunting reminder of the school's past. The friends, frozen in place, watched as the apparitions danced, laughed, and cried. The ghostly play was a macabre performance, a replay of the school's last day. The friends could barely breathe as they realized the terrifying truth. They were witnessing the spirits of the past, reliving their final moments. As the realization dawned upon them, the temperature in the auditorium plummeted. Their breaths clouded in front of their faces, and a feeling of dread washed over them. They were the unwanted guests in a spectral performance, intruders in a tragedy that had played out years ago. The walls of the auditorium seemed to close in on them, and the laughter and chatter of the apparitions grew louder, more insistent. "We need to leave," whispered Jake, his voice trembling. But as they turned to the exit, they found the door locked. They rattled the handle, pushed against the solid wood, but it wouldn't budge. Panic set in, their hearts pounded in their chests. Their breaths came out in short gasps. They were trapped in the auditorium, spectators in a ghostly play, unable to escape the terrifying reality of their situation. They were trapped in the past, caught in the school's haunting history. The friends huddled together, their eyes glued to the spectral performance on stage, a chilling reminder of the school's tragic end. The laughter and chatter of the ghostly students echoed around them, a horrifying soundtrack to their nightmare. They were trapped. The words echoed in their minds, a chilling epitaph to their terrifying discovery. The school's horrifying past had ensnared them, and there was no escape. They were trapped in a ghostly performance, a terrifying truth that they could not ignore. As they huddled together, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was the student whose diary they had found. The spectral form of a girl, eternally trapped in her teenage years. Her ethereal voice echoed through the eerily quiet halls. Her words sent a shiver down their spines. She continued, her voice a whisper in the wind. "I was the first, but not the last. Now you're part of it, part of us, the new ghosts of the high school." A cold, hard truth that they were now destined to become part of this haunting legacy. The once lively group of friends were now trapped, forever bound to this haunted high school, their laughter and youthful exuberance replaced by the chilling silence of their new reality. And just like that, the laughter that once filled the night was replaced by an eternal silence.